Okay.
All right. Could you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. Would you call the roll, please?
Dennis.
Here.
Harold.
Here.
Hollenbaugh.
Here.
Musgrave.
Here.
Odoricio.
Here.
Phipps.
Here.
Robinette.
Here.
All right. The minutes for our April 7th meeting were distributed for your review. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Jody, do we have any correspondence this evening?
We have one item. The mayor is requesting confirmation of an appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission. The appointment is for Ryan Rothenbuehler to serve through May 31st, 2026. This appointment is effective April 22nd, 2025.
Do I have a motion to approve the appointment?
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Thank you very much for your volunteer spirit. That brings us to lobby visitations. Do we have anyone signed up this evening?
We do. Lindsay Joe Durham.
Not that you're new to this, but if you could share with us your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Joe Durham, and I live at 1082 Fairview Avenue. I am here tonight once again to advocate for changing the name of Gypsy Lane Road. First, a little history. The Europeans called Roma gypsies because they mistook them from Egyptians based on their complexion. In the same way that we no longer call Native Americans Indians, we should no longer be referring to Roma as gypsies. Gypsy is also the term that was used pejoratively by the Nazis. From 1933 to 1945, the Nazis not only committed a genocide against the Jewish people, but against the Roma as well. Anywhere from 250,000 to 500,000 Roma were murdered, and many others were forced to be sterilized. Forced sterilization of the Roma continued in the former Czechoslovakia and Czech Republic from 1966 until as recently as 2007. During this time, Vera Sokolova discusses how Czechoslovak discourse about, quote, the gypsy question played on societal anxieties about degeneracy, casting Roma as deviant and not as Czechoslovaks. In this discourse, the term gypsy embodied social deviance. Today, as defined by Merriam-Webster, to quote, gyp is an act or instance of cheating. Its other definition is, quote, someone who cheats or swindles others. Merriam-Webster also states that due to their association with gypsy and to their inherent negative meanings, the uses of gyp relating to cheating and swindling are widely regarded as offensive. While I understand these racist ideologies persist throughout our society, I'd rather we not showcase them and condone them on a street sign. If a road were named after any other slur, we would find it unacceptable. So I am proposing that City Council pass a resolution in support of the name change that we can then present to the county commissioners in hopes of gaining their approval. To some, this may seem like a small matter, but it's an easy change we can make to be better. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's everyone for this evening.
Okay. That brings us to the introduction of new legislation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
on behalf of the Finance Committee, I have an ordinance providing supplemental and/or amending appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025.
Mr. President,
Mr. Harold.
on behalf of the council committee as a whole, I have an ordinance enacting and adopting the 2025 S-17 supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the city of Bowling Green, Ohio.
Mr. President,
Ms. Phipps.
for the Planning, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee, I have 4 ordinances this evening. The first is an ordinance accepting annexation of approximately 11.29 acres of land in Center Township, Wood County, Ohio, from Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner. The second is an ordinance establishing interim zoning of IE innovation and employment zoning for the same property. The approximately 11.29 acres of land located north of 12,698 and 12,732 Newton Road and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner. The third is an ordinance accepting annexation of approximately 46.172 acres of land in Center Township, Wood County, Ohio, from Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner. And the fourth is an ordinance establishing interim zoning of IE innovation and employment zoning for the approximately 46.172 acres of land located at 12,698 and 12,732 Newton Road and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner.
That brings us to official reports. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Council. Just one item I wanted to highlight this evening. As many of you are certainly aware, Friday is Arbor Day. And last week, the City of Bowling Green was proud to host the 2025 Northwest Ohio Tree City USA celebration in the Veterans Building in our city park. Also point out, I don't know if you've noticed that in our downtown area, there are some really new, beautiful Tree City USA banners hung on the light posts that I think are very appropriate for the following reasons. At the event last week, I'm proud to say that for the 45th year, Bowling Green has earned the Tree City Award, which I think further emphasizes our community's longstanding commitment to this environmental stewardship. And also at the event last week, the city received the prestigious Tree City USA Growth Award for the 31st time. Also, this award, I believe, acknowledges our continuous efforts in fostering higher standards of tree care and environmental improvement here in the city of Bowling Green. I'm really proud of these commitments and the work that's done by city employees that allows us to qualify for these awards almost continuously at this point. So I wanted to take just a moment to recognize the efforts, first of all, of our Bowling Green Tree Commission. Many of you are aware that all of the city's boards and commissions spend a significant amount of time volunteering their time to contribute to the betterment of the city of Bowling Green, and the Tree Commission is no exception. They're very active and committed to their work, and I appreciate their work in supporting tree care and maintenance here in the city. But I did also want to highlight the efforts of our urban forester, Adrian Lowy-Kirian, and also our communications staff who help on an ongoing basis, and were certainly a big part of the event last week. Amanda Gamby, Hallie Williams, and Rachel Sizer, and also our public works folks who work with Adrian on a daily basis to support the ongoing work of maintaining the trees. That's Bill Branham and under the leadership of Mick Murray. So together, all of these folks on a consistent basis are dedicated to this purpose, and I think we should all, or I know that I am appreciative of their hard work because the results of their hard work and their commitment surround us every day, and it's a long list of the benefits of investing in trees from an environmental standpoint and also from a standard of living. They contribute highly to our standard of living, our property values, and for all these reasons, I'm proud of the work that they do, and I think that it's important that we continue to commit ourselves to doing it. So just wanted to highlight all of that good work. That's my report, subject to any questions that you might have.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for the mayor? Okay. Municipal Administrator, Ms. Treader.
Good evening. Last week was tax day, and we want to thank our taxpayers for their submission of their tax forms, but we especially want to give a thanks to our income tax staff. Sometimes there are long lines, there are a lot of challenges that come with tax time as they are helping folks, and these are really outstanding professionals who represent our city very well with patience, and we really appreciate all that they do for us. Dana, their department head, is here. Carlin Pfeffer, our income tax commissioner, leads that office, does an outstanding job, and that whole group works well together to fulfill one of these fundamental purposes of our local government. As City Engineer Brad Holman reported to you recently, the South Main Improvement Project has been awarded, and we are soon going to be starting construction on South Main. We do want to remind folks that access to businesses, residential areas will be maintained, but they will need to watch for signage down there. We do ask people traveling in the area to allow a bit more time to get where they're going, have some patience. Remember, there are workers in the roadways there. We will get you where you need to go. We just all need to work together. And I see Clint here. So Clint, I'll say your favorite thing here. We encourage you when you see orange barrels to think of those as a sign of progress. You want to be in a town that's investing in itself. And when you see those orange barrels, we understand we're humans too. We get frustrated as well. But it does mean we're investing in ourselves, and this is a place worth investing in. So please keep that in mind as you travel. With me this evening, I have Chief Tony Hetrick, and we have asked him to give a police division update as part of our sharing with you different areas of the city, some progress updates. So we will turn this over to Chief Hetrick now.
Okay. Mr. President, members of council, first thing I'd like to do is address the pending legislation that you have before you, 32.07, regarding fees for redaction services involving police video records. As these are public records, we're mandated to comply with the request to provide them. We're also mandated by state law to exclude certain information that is kept confidential due to reasons such as case law, respecting the privacy of individuals, legislation such as Marsy's Law to protect the rights of crime victims, and other information involving confidential law enforcement sources and methods. I passed out earlier to you a dash cam redaction check sheet that we use when we go through the videos, and you can see that the items that we have to watch for when reviewing those videos is quite extensive. Typically, when a police video is requested and shown in the media, it is a small segment of a larger record. The requested record could be a single video of a small size, or it could be a large file encompassing several videos. Oftentimes, a complete video record involves multiple officers who all wear body cameras, driving multiple cruisers, which also have front and rearward facing cameras. Each of these cameras may have captured one or many of the items that are required to be redacted. This process has proven to take significant amount of resources, and if we can ascertain, either by direct contact with or other means, what a particular requester specifically wants to see, we could speed up the process, but they are not required on their request to answer those inquiries. So video redaction is something that we accomplish through our records process, records clerk Emily Snyder, in addition to the myriad of other responsibilities that she accomplishes, as well as handling dispatch duties. This takes a considerable amount of her time. And we have supplemented the need for additional help in this area by assigning the administrative lieutenant to review and make redactions of video. It's not ideal, but does help ensure the videos are processed and returned to the requester in as quick a time as possible. The redaction is accomplished through software. We use a system called CaseGuard, and it provides the tools to blur, eliminate sound, and remove portions of audio and video as required. The software costs the police division $4,600 annually to maintain. There are other systems out there that are much more expensive that involve AI. We're not fully 100% confident in those things just yet. That hasn't come to fruition as far as being able just to plug it in and let that do the work. So we are having to monitor and review every one of these videos that's requested. In addition to the software costs, the personnel costs, again, are considerable. And I have some data I'd like to share with you regarding the redaction services, which we have collected in 2024 and 2025 to date. The numbers break down as follows. In 2024, we had 435 videos requested. The time required in redacting ranged from 20 minutes to 10 hours for each request. The average time spent in redacting each request was 3.5 hours. In 2025, there have been 162 requests so far, and we did a sampling of 33 random videos that showed the shortest time in completing the redaction was again 20 minutes. The longest time was 11 hours. So the average being 3 hours, it still takes a considerable amount of time to get through these videos. It should be noted that redaction services are not required for prosecutor requests as they're working through cases, but the video still has to be reviewed to ensure that they're complete. Requesters do not have to tell us why they want the video or for what purpose they're going to use it. We're getting numerous requests from YouTube and other media content creators for our videos. They put them up on their channels and they monetize them. We receive no recoverable resources from them doing that. And this legislation will help bridge that gap. And though they may not pay for all of the expenses related, it sure would help. So with that, I hope the discussion on that has shed some light on what it takes to be compliant with the open records law regarding video. And I also hope it reinforces why we need the fee structure requested. So I wanted to cover those things. And before I proceed, I wanted to ask if anyone had any questions regarding the video redactions.
Does anyone have any questions for Chief Hetrick? Nope.
Okay, thank you. Well, I wanted to give a little update about what's going on in the police division. As you know, this is my final meeting as your chief of police, and I just wanted to talk about some of the things that we've been doing, and a lot of it is based on such things as technology. The body-worn cameras, we haven't had them all that long, but they have made a major impact. And that's something that we will continue to work with for years to come. It's been great. It's not something we were afraid of when it came out. And it's just one more thing we can leverage to do our job more efficiently and to provide for accountability. So with that, there are other additional technological things that we have been working on. Some of you may remember the camera systems you might have seen in the budgets, the cameras that we have, the license plate reader cameras that we have. Those are highly effective. And as I was coming in today, I heard on the radio that there was a suicidal subject in the community, and they did hit on one of the cameras, and the officers were able to go to that area and try to find that person to get them the help they need. So that's just one of the instances, a recent one within the last hour, where those cameras have played a part in what we do. They also help us find missing persons, warrants, and solve crimes that occur in some of our higher crime areas. Gypsy Lane being one of the locations with Walmart there, we get a lot of calls out there, and the system helps us immensely try to track down retail theft suspects as well as other things that go on out there. We have 27 of those cameras throughout the city, and right now we don't plan to install any more, but we certainly want to, as the city expands, look at doing that, and that's something for the future that we can have a discussion about. When I started in this career, we didn't have cameras in the cars. We didn't have computers in the cars. Everything was handwritten. We've come a long way in the last 29 years, and I would hope that everyone sees that we are using this technology, leveraging it to do our mission to make this community safe and improve the quality of life that we all experience here. So just wanted to touch on some of those technological things, and that's the way policing is being done now. Everything has a technological component, from investigations, cell phone searches and things, search warrants, those kinds of things. Everything has an electronic component to it now, and that's the world we're living in, and we try to stay up and current with those things. So thank you for your support in that, and we've asked for a lot of technological things in the budget, and we've never been turned down. It's always been a positive thing to work with council in this community on doing those things that help us keep this community safe. So with that, let's conclude my remarks. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief, and we'll give you an opportunity here for questions before we have a presentation for Chief Hetrick. So any questions before the mayor and I move on?
Any questions for the chief?
Just a comment. Chief Hetrick, you are welcome to come to any council meeting in the future. You don't even have to talk if you don't want.
Well, thank you. I probably wouldn't.
Wouldn't talk or wouldn't come?
Yes.
Wouldn't talk for sure. I will probably be at a council meeting in the future. I could see that happening.
So I want to make a few remarks about Chief Hetrick and his service before I turn this over to the mayor. I believe that Bowling Green is a better place because Tony Hetrick served as the chief of police here. In his time here, he has been professional, accountable, he's been transparent, he's made adaptations to the profession as required, and the community. And as we've changed, so has policing. And he has been at the forefront of making those changes, of listening, working cooperatively with our community. He's also been a leader within the division and garnered respect throughout his agency. And I think one of the reasons is because he's a very consistent person. And that consistency allows people to trust in him. He's been an advocate for the police division and the employees within the police division. He's also kept regional ties through his communications with the sheriff, with other entities within our region, and of course has national and state ties as well, as he has been well educated in the profession. For me personally, the chief became the chief the same summer I became municipal administrator. So we've spent time as colleagues. He's been a trusted colleague who's always been reliable and responsive and trustworthy as well. He served as an executive, a member of our executive staff, and helped to guide the organization throughout the City of Bowling Green organization. He is well known and respected for being cooperative, supportive, and someone with whom it's easy to work with. Some of his family is here this evening, and I also want to note to them, we understand that having a family member in law enforcement is challenging. I can suspect that there are sleepless nights and worries that go along with it, as well as sacrifices. This is not a job that one shows up to and leaves behind. It is a 24/7 job, and the chief has always been responsive, no matter the time that is required of him. But we know that impacts all of you, and he couldn't do it, I would suspect, without the support of all of you, and so we appreciate that. So before I turn this over to the mayor, Tony, Chief Hetrick, I want to thank you for your service to the City of Bowling Green. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well said, Lori. I cannot top that, for sure. I think that you have spoken for many of us and many members of this community when you talk about the attributes that Chief Hetrick brought to the job. I will say that, my lasting impressions of Chief Hetrick will always be of his character. He's a man of high character and consistent character, no matter what the challenges were, and there's plenty of challenges in the police division every day, many that we don't hear about on a daily basis, but he never allowed himself to get flustered, and his character was always consistent, and I think that our officers reflect that steadiness, and we are really, really grateful, Chief, for your service to this community. So if you will indulge me for just a minute, I'm going to read this plaque that we're going to present to you. This is a bittersweet day. I've said it before, the number of other retirements, you've heard me say it before. It's a bittersweet day. We are, of course, happy for you and your family as you enter into this next chapter of your life, and there will be many exciting opportunities for you and your family, I'm certain, but you will be missed here at Bowling Green. We will miss all of those things that you have contributed to this police division and this community for all of these many years. So I know you hate this part of it, but you're going to have to indulge me for just a minute because I'm going to read the plaque here. This plaque is presented to Noah Tony Hetrick. Please accept this token of appreciation for your dedicated and distinguished career as Bowling Green's Chief of Police. On behalf of the community, we thank you for your unwavering commitment to the police division and to the citizens of Bowling Green. Never underestimate the difference you made in the lives that you touched. We wish you a relaxing and enjoyable retirement, and the years of service for Chief Hetrick were August 26, 1996 to May 4th, 2025, and I hope that you all join me in offering Chief Hetrick our appreciation for his service to this community.
We could do something after.
All right, you guys shake hands again.
Thank you. Hunter and I will move down here. We'll move away.
All right, everybody get your pictures.
Yep.
Chief, do you want to make some remarks?
If you might indulge me just for a minute, there are several people I'd like to thank. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family, my wife Leslie, my son Noah for being here tonight. It's very important to me that they be here. Yeah, it's been it's a long time that I've been in this role, 10 years, and division for almost 29. So they've been with me through the very beginning, right at the very beginning. Yeah, we were married 2 days before I left for the academy. So yeah, I got a one night honeymoon. So anyhow, thanks to them. Thanks to you and City Council and the city administration for your unwavering support during some very difficult times for our profession and things. I always felt confident that you had my back and that we could work together through anything that would be thrown at us, any difficulties, but also good times. We had a lot of good times and a lot of fun. So I appreciate all of you. I do. And I want to thank the men and women of the Bowling Green Police Division. They made my job as chief so much easier with their dedication, their innovation and courage. They were able to withstand a lot of things. They made me proud every day of the way they could handle incidents and the novel ways that they would approach their jobs. You know, I didn't have to get involved with too much on the street level because our guys are that good. Our men and women are that good. And I appreciate everything that they have done for the city. And finally, I'd like to thank the citizens of Bowling Green for their willingness to engage, work with, and support our police division. I've served with many citizens on boards and commissions and have been impressed with the willingness and desire to work with others to address difficult topics to improve the quality of life in our community. I thank the citizens for their kindness and patience. I cannot tell you how many times I've been out and randomly told, thank you for what you do, or how much the police division means to them personally. I've had meals paid for while I've been in restaurants in town by anonymous individuals I never got to thank. And during the time of 2020, which was a great time of upheaval in our nation, in our community, it was a challenge for law enforcement on many different levels. And after that time had ended, I was approached by an individual who informed me that some of the local church groups had actually been walking around the police division regularly praying for us, for our safety. You know, I was moved by that and all the gestures, more than I can express to you here tonight. This is a fantastic community, and I am so proud to have served as the chief of police here and as an officer. Everybody should have a community like I've been fortunate to have here. So in closing, I'd like to say the experience, has been amazing. And I did not set out to be the chief of police when I got hired here. I would have been happy really in any role within the agency. I love police work that much, but it has been a great honor to lead such a great agency. And I thank you for that opportunity every day. Thanks.
Well, thank you from all of us for your service, and from me particularly for you always answering my phone calls, emails, and treating me in a very respectful manner. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. That brings us to City Attorney, Mr. Brown.
Well, after all that, now I'll feel bad if I don't say something. So I was just thinking as I was sitting here that if the chief walked in tomorrow and he wasn't in that uniform, I don't know that I'd recognize him. Anytime I've ever seen him, he is in that exact, I mean, that's just the image you have. But, I came here as city prosecutor, but I came from a different jurisdiction. And the relationship between my office as prosecutor and the police division here was one I wasn't used to. It was one of cooperation in a way that was wonderful and refreshing. And I'm not going to throw my previous jurisdiction under the bus or anything, but I just want to say that, I've worked with the chief here for 9, almost 10 years now. And I've enjoyed it quite a bit, and I just want to thank him for his service. And it was always wonderful as a prosecutor knowing that if you had a problem or a question, you can go to the police chief, and it's not a conversation that is an unfriendly one. We didn't always agree on things, I will say that, but it was always one of professionalism and respect, and I want to thank you also. So, other than that, no report.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? Brings us to Public Infrastructure Director, Mr. O'Connell.
No report unless you have questions.
Any questions for Mr. O'Connell this evening? Okay. Brings us to council committee reports. Are there any council committee reports?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Robinette?
The Finance Committee met prior to this meeting and received a first quarter 2025 update from the Finance Director.
Okay. Anything else? All right. That brings us to the reading of legislation. Jody?
Legislation for first reading. Ordinance 9271 for first reading. Ordinance providing supplemental and/or amending appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025 and ending December 31, 2025.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette?
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 9271 its second and third readings.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Jody?
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Okay, the rules are suspended for ordinance 9271.
Ordinance 9271 for second and third readings. Ordinance providing supplemental and/or amending appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025 and ending December 31, 2025.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette?
I move to adopt ordinance 9271.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps.
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 9271 is adopted.
Ordinance 9272 for first reading. Ordinance enacting and adopting the 2025 S17 supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
Mr. President,
Mr. Harold?
I move that we give ordinance 9272 its second and third readings.
Second. Properly moved and seconded. Jody?
Musgrave,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh.
Yes, the rules are suspended for ordinance 9272.
Ordinance 9272 for second and third readings. Ordinance enacting and adopting the 2025 S17 supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
Mr. President,
Mr. Harold?
I move that we adopt ordinance 9272.
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 9272 is adopted.
Ordinance 9273 for first reading. Ordinance accepting annexation of approximately 46.172 acres of land in Center Township, Wood County, Ohio, from Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner. Ordinance 9274 for first reading. Ordinance establishing interim zoning of IE innovation and employment zoning for the approximately 46.172 acres of land located at 12698 and 12732 Newton Road and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner.
Mr. President,
Ms. Phipps.
we need to set the required public hearing on this ordinance for June 2nd at 6:30 PM.
Okay.
Ordinance 9275 for first reading. Ordinance accepting annexation of approximately 11.29 acres of land in Center Township, Wood County, Ohio, from Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner. Ordinance 9276 for first reading. Ordinance establishing interim zoning of IE innovation and employment zoning for the approximately 11.29 acres of land located north of 12698 and 12732 Newton Road and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by Robert W. Mauer, agent and petitioner.
Mr. President,
Ms. Phipps.
here too, we need to set the required public hearing for ordinance 9276 for June 2nd at 6:30 PM.
Legislation for second reading. Resolution 3880 for second reading. Resolution in support of the Bowling Green school system and specifically the levy on the May 6th ballot.
Mr. President,
Ms. Phipps.
I move to suspend the rules and give resolution 3880 its second and third reading.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Jody?
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Odericio.
Yes.
All right, the rules are suspended for Resolution 3880.
Resolution 3880 for second and third readings. Resolution in support of the Bowling Green school system and specifically the levy on the May 6th ballot.
Mr.
Mr. President?
Ms. Phipps?
I was going to move to adopt resolution 3880.
Okay.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move that we amend Resolution 3880 to change the resolution title from Resolution in Support of the Bowling Green School System and specifically the levy on the May 6th ballot to Resolution in Support of the Bowling Green School System and underscoring the importance of the operating levy on the May 6th ballot, as well as change Section 3 from with all of the above in mind, Bowling Green City Council encourages and recommends that each citizen vote for the proposed public school levy issue on the May 6, 2025 ballot. 2, with all of the above in mind, Bowling Green City Council encourages and recommends that each citizen research the proposed levy on the May 6, 2025 ballot and vote accordingly.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Discussion?
I don't think we should change the language. I think I support the levy and I support the schools. And as a member of City Council, we've been working diligently to grow this community economically. We've changed the zoning so that we can more easily bring housing in here. Now we want to bring families to our community and we want to support good schools to attract those families. The schools were great for my kids. The teachers were fantastic. It was an important part of my decision to move to the community and stay here, and I think we should continue to invest in the schools. So I support the strongest and most positive language that we can have in this resolution.
Other comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette?
I support the resolution as written. Although it is true that the Bowling Green School District is slightly larger than the city of Bowling Green, 100% of the city of Bowling Green is within the Bowling Green School District. It's also true that we are separate legal jurisdictions, but we are inseparably intertwined. So yes, in my opinion, the matter of this school levy is a Bowling Green City issue that deserves the full attention and engagement of this council. The negative economic impact of this levy failing will be felt by everyone in Bowling Green now and for the foreseeable future. All aspects of economic development will be negatively affected. Businesses, including current businesses that want to grow and potential new businesses, need strong functioning schools to attract and retain employees. Growth will likely stagnate, the tax base will not likely grow, and may even shrink as families choose to move to districts where communities support their schools and where schools have the opportunities for students that Bowling Green will no longer offer. Now, for a brief but frank review of the relationship of this levy to economic development, I strongly recommend reading the letter from the Bowling Green Economic Development Executive Committee that was recently published in local media. It is short, it's to the point, and it's very clear. It is not enough, in my opinion, for the voters in the city of Bowling Green to research this levy or to merely consider voting for the levy. The only way for this levy to succeed is to vote for it. And that's exactly what I did this morning. I understand what is at stake. My wife and I have 4 now adult children, all of whom graduated from Bowling Green High School. Significantly, we had 2 children at the high school when the decisions during COVID stopped not just extracurricular activities, but learning. The negative effects on students and families were great. Some are permanent. The negative effects on the school budget and the student programming and opportunities, if this levy fails, will be worse and very difficult to reverse in the short term. So I support this resolution as written. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dennis?
I think there are very few people who have dedicated more hours to getting this levy passed than I have. I would say countless, but I'm sure my wife and kids could tell you exactly how many hours. Excuse me. That being said, I don't think it is the position of my office to dictate to people how to vote. I also think that anybody who does spend any amount of time at all talking to any of the families, the local businesses, the large employers, any of the teachers, the support staff who will be affected should this levy fail, really needs City Council to tell them how important the issue is to this community. While I like to think that we have that much influence, I'm not sure that's the case. That being said, I would echo everything that Councilman Robinette said. The Chamber of Commerce, the Northwest Ohio Board of Realtors, the Downtown Special Improvement District. I mean, if you look at any organization that works with any local businesses, large employers on a day-to-day basis, they have endorsed this levy. I certainly plan to vote yes. That being said, if we can come out of this meeting with unanimous support, I'm willing to entertain any amendment that will get us there. So I'm happy to support this amendment. I'm happy to vote for either version of the resolution, and I do encourage everybody not just to look at any of the words or listen to any of the words that any of us may have to say tonight, but really to look at the issue and impact that this will have on every single family in this community, whether you have kids in the schools, whether you are looking to open or grow a local business, or whether you're looking to retire and hope to get something for your home when you eventually sell it. So with that said, I guess I would just close by saying that I hope everybody does go and vote. The polls are open from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday this week at the Wood County Courthouse. Voter turnout so far has been fairly low, so that does suggest that anybody who wants to participate is going to have an outsized impact on the future trajectory of our community as a whole.
All right. Any further discussion?
Bill, I guess which of these two options is your preference for the change to section 3?
I'm sorry.
Which of these two options that you read?
Oh, I read the first one.
You read the first one? Okay, thank you.
I
Any-
guess,
any other-
Mr. President, if I can
Yeah.
add one more thing. I think it's also important to remember that this levy failing is not going to impact every family in our district equally. The families who can afford to move or can afford to open enroll their students at other districts so that they have these opportunities available are going to do so. So it's really the lower income families who are not able to sit in a car drop-off line at Elmwood High School every morning for an hour and a half, who are going to be stuck here suffering the consequences if this levy doesn't fail. So I would really encourage everybody, especially folks who maybe feel that they are in less a position to pay this additional tax, to really consider what that would mean for their family in particular, because this is not something that is going to impact every family equally. That's it.
Okay. So the original language pays deference to our constituents. As Section 2 says, Bowling Green City Council recognizes and respects each citizen's responsibility to research and vote accordingly. I don't feel as though we have within us the power to dictate how anyone in this city is going to vote. We're all strong-willed individuals from Ohio, and we're going to do what we want. However, I've been involved in education for almost 3 decades, and I have to say that at no time prior to this in my career have I seen more of an assault on school funding. The stuff that's floating around Columbus right now is going to reduce school funding in the coming years. And I mean, we're just at the point where we have to decide what are our values as a community, because help is not going to come from outside. We have to be our own heroes. I feel that the wording needs to be as strong as possible, because the failure of this issue on the ballot, in my mind, is just not a place where we want to be. Any other comments? Okay. Jody?
Robinette,
No.
Dennis,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
No.
Musgrave,
No.
Odoricio,
No.
Phipps.
No.
Okay, so the proposed amendment fails. Is there any other discussion prior to a final vote?
Mr. President?
Yep.
I have some difficulty with voting on something like this. In other words, I have difficulty with the resolution, the idea of the resolution. The proposed amendment was something that I thought would fix that. It still is in the position where there's some disconnect. And let me separate out 2 things. One, the need of something to be done to sufficiently fund the public school system. We are all, I think, in unanimous, wholehearted agreement that something needs to be done. And the reasoning, the impact on the city itself, we are all in agreement with that. The whereases, we're all in agreement. The disconnect that I see is Section 2 says the Bowling Green City Council recognizes and respects each citizen's responsibility to research and vote accordingly. And then Section 3 says, with all of the above in mind, Bowling Green City Council encourages and recommends that each citizen vote for the proposed public school levy issue on the May 6, 2025 ballot. So in Section 2, we're saying we recognize and we respect the citizen's responsibility to research and vote accordingly, but vote for it. In other words, no matter what your research comes up with, no matter what the way that you go through your process to determine whether to vote for it or against it, put that aside and vote for it. And that's what I tried to fix. So I'm faced with being in complete agreement with Section 2. So I guess I should vote yes. But Section 3, with my saying, with all due respect, and I don't know about you, but when somebody tells me with all due respect, I sort of wait for it, that somebody's going to then say something that's not that. So with Section 3, that would be to vote no. And I know from Hunter a few weeks ago, I can't vote yes and no. So I have to vote yes or no. The way that I'm going to vote on this is I'm going to concentrate on Section 2. And that is, I want people to thoroughly research it. One of the things that I would want to get out of this resolution is don't have a knee-jerk reaction to vote no. There's a segment of the population that's what they do. They always vote no. They don't think about it. They just vote no. And what I would hope, modestly hope, would come from this is just the encouragement, wait, think this through, research it, do your research, and then vote accordingly. So I'm going to concentrate on that. And because of that, I will vote yes. Obviously, I'm for an improved school system. Obviously, I think that it impacts the city. And I also put great faith in the voter to determine which way the city should go. So that's why I will be voting yes, because of Section 2.
Anything else? Jody?
Dennis,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette.
Yes.
All right, Resolution 3880 is adopted.
Ordinance 9267 for second reading. Ordinance amending and adopting Section 32.07 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding requests for and establishing fees for copies of public records. Ordinance 9268 for second reading. Ordinance authorizing the municipal administrator to sell or trade vehicles and equipment no longer needed for municipal purposes. Ordinance 9269 for second reading. Ordinance authorizing the Utilities Director to execute an agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, OWDA, or the Ohio EPA Water Supply Revolving Loan Account, WSRLA, program for the design, engineering, and construction of the Western Water Tower and Carter Park Water Tower improvements. Ordinance 9270 for second reading. Ordinance authorizing the Utilities Director to execute an agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, OWDA, or the Ohio EPA Water Supply Revolving Loan Account, WSRLA, program for the design, engineering, and construction of the water treatment plant clarifier improvements. There is no legislation for third reading.
Okay, is there any other business to come before council this evening? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.